I'm sitting in the back seat of the car. Yes, I am. I'm sitting in the back seat of the car. Like, who does that? But yeah, anyway, so you know how you're waiting for people, you just wait. So anyways, wait in line is to, yeah, say. So anyway, so I was sitting here on my phone, right? And for some odd reason pertaining to the Asia degree case in relation to the bag being found, as in buried underground, no telling how many feet or inches or width, pertaining to the insight with that, right? I don't know why with that, superintendent, yes, a construction superintendent, I don't know why that sort of thing just popped out the side of my dome. And that is in fact in itself not a laughing matter. No, it's not. Yes, a construction superintendent, those type of people do in fact exist. As in the building material and getting things together, even pertaining to, say, gathering bits and pieces of what you're going to need in building. See, some other manly figure or woman or somebody has to be involved in that process other than just, say, the contractor being above. Somebody else has to be a part of the process as in above the contractor, which is why I'm thinking that sort of thing stood out to mind. To most of me, as in it popping up, slapping me upside the head. I mean, saying that, let me get to the point of just, because this right here is for your eyes only, as in me. When I post certain things, it's really not for the public, and yet it is. And yet for me to make notes is for me to have it in written form as well as in video form, right? So this right here, this video is being made for me to even analyze it more further, as in taking it more further as I gain information. Yes. But on top of that, I'm putting it on here and I'm not going to set it as private. I'm just going to set it in case you guys want to watch. In relation to me questioning what is a construction superintendent. That information has to go together too, as in a deciding piece in relation to Asia degree going missing, as in who could have done what and why. Because see, to have a construction superintendent on a site, running and gunning a site, and I don't mean with a gun 9mm, right? With that is to know somebody has to overlook as well as oversee the process, as in the matter as it's going down. I don't work in it, but in yet to look at something from afar, as in me being visually oriented as well as a storyteller is to be able to see. So right here I got in my notes, what could a construction superintendent, and when I said it, that this is not a laughing matter, what I meant is because when most people think of superintendents, they in fact think of the school and say not a construction worker or somebody that oversees the construction process. That's why I stated before, this is not a laughing matter. This is in fact a serious matter, right? Though sometimes I laugh about certain things which are in fact funny, but a superintendent, construction superintendent, can also be part of a construction process and not just, say, some individual working over at like the Board of Education or something like that. Those are superintendents as well. So the breaking down process. The construction superintendent, they in fact inspect and approve of all work by contractors. I wrote this in my notes. Remember, to be as scientific as individuals to just state. So a construction superintendent, my apologies for repeating, but once again, a construction superintendent, they inspect and approve of all work by contractors, subcontractors, and employees. That is in fact their position. A general construction superintendent oversees every single phase. See, that right there is important in the performance aspect in relation to even the child's bag being seen, as in witness unfound and found underground. I'm wondering even a construction superintendent would even have seen that. As in the planning material, even a child's bag at 4 a.m. in the morning, because see, to be a construction superintendent is to know Yes, you are responsible over that land, but once again, you yourself can in fact take it upon yourself to be there even in the middle of the night. And me seeing this in the daytime is to say just that. I'm saying, I know, and I said what I stated about the family. I am still there as in agreeing even with my own self. And no textbook stands in that as in the gathering of information materials. But a superintendent, construction superintendent, a lot of times are in fact on site just as much as a contractor, but a superintendent of a construction area, construction superintendent, they're more on the ground than say contractors, because they handle much more, and I'm gonna explain even that in detail. So let me rewind back. A general construction superintendent oversees every single phase of a construction process. They see every single phase. A construction superintendent, yes, they do. They cover when it comes to ground matter, paperwork, they cover every layer and detail. From the paperwork on down to the building. On top of like even that land that the child's bag was found on. So for me, I had questioned the contractor, but see, the question everybody is to in fact question that construction superintendent as well. Especially if he's inspecting all work done by contractors, some contractors and employees. That's his position. So if you seeing every single phase of the process going down, then I must question you as well, dear construction superintendent, whatever his or her name was. So I stated this. I said police may or may not have, but hopefully they have questioned the construction superintendent as well. I can't see them just questioning that contractor and leaving that as that. I can't see that, because see, that will be false hope on the end of say a FBI police officers. That has to work in with the case, and it should. As in when I just pointed out. Police somewhere had to have questioned that superintendent, yes, construction superintendent, they had to have done that. I'm thinking you would. Because see, a contractor, his little lonely position, despite him being with other workers building on the ground like that, he might in fact manage other people, but I would in fact be police going much more higher than that. I would in pertaining to everything. So let me break. I'm gonna tell you what a construction superintendent is. That way you can live and learn in the process of me living and learning and sharing information. Despite I said that this video was only for myself. To be a well thought out individual is to say, as in helping other people to learn the world and environment around them. Dear Discovery Channel. So a construction, I'm trying to put that light out a little bit that's behind me as you see it. There is in fact light behind me, and it's somewhat blinding. So I'm trying to kind of like block the light out so you can't really, move around. And no, I did not pass gas. That was my shoe being leather, touching up on this other leather. So let's put it like this. I hope that's it. Get my angle right. Is that right? So, to be in the back seat is to be closed all the way in. But, let me see. So, I said a construction superintendent interviews and selects workers for the job site. Men would know this sort of thing, or maybe not if that's not their line and field of work. See, everybody in the world can't know everything. Which is why you go research. If say you're involved on a team, helping to whatever with that team, or if you just have an inquisitive mind and wanting to know what could have whatever happened. So I'm saying this for people that watch Discovery Channel and love to learn. To be a lover of information is to be just that. As in step outside even your zone. Yes. So construction superintendents interviews and selects workers for the job site. They are also responsible for communicating rules that involve on-site safety procedures to new hires. Let me repeat that, see when I messed that up. I said construction superintendents. They are also responsible for communicating rules that involve on-site safety procedures to new hires. They also routinely serve as timekeepers. Remember, timing is a factor in everything, even pointing to Asha degree in her case. So a construction superintendent, they also routinely serve as timekeepers and also approves workers' time cards. They also approve time of requests, saying things needed to be changed or altered, or even financial pertaining to accounting and all that other. So that's very vital. The questioning right there of the superintendent, also known as the construction superintendent. A construction superintendent came to mind as I was watching a house nearby. Yes, there's various houses nearby being built where I'm at. As in the ground, everything is still being unearthed. Even in the way that the child's bag was pulled up. And yet they're using bulldozers in place of, say, a grader machine. Being built, yes, a bulldozer and all else, as I stated before. And not only that, I took the time to go up to one of the houses, and there's in fact a building permit. Not for a building, but for a house. Along with the contractor's name, as well as the actual date. Yes, it has the contractor first and last name as well as the date. And not only that, there's a number, like a register number or whatnot. That's, yes, for record purposes. So I said, hold on. Yep, let's go back again. A construction superintendent, they're responsible for scheduling, inspections, quality control, and job site safety. When I mention scheduling, because they would know even about timing. Because he or her also schedules subcontractors, consultants and vendors in a critical path to ensure all in a timely completion, as in the starting building as well as the ending. Didn't I question that in one of my other videos? That's why I made this video too. And I said that before, I'm repeating. But to repeat too much is to, in fact, impose clarity on your eyes, the viewer, pertaining to remember and me saying what I did. So, construction superintendents are usually stationed on the construction site. Didn't I say that before? Is that the 4th or the 5th time I said that? Construction superintendents are usually stationed on the construction site of where something is being built, altered, gutted, pulled up, unearthed, everything. They know about that sort of thing, and more than likely will possibly see. So, seeming we know construction superintendents are usually stationed on the construction site before all is going down, as well as during every single phase of the process, as well as possibly right after. The project managers are usually based in the contractor's office with part-time on-site responsibilities. So a project manager will be working in a contractor's office. They will more than likely have a full-blown, full-time shift, but part-time of that will be on-site responsibilities, as in them being on the grounds or where the land is or so. There could in fact be more than just one superintendent, depending on the state and regulation, the law pertaining to even that. There can be just many, yes, construction superintendents on that actual project working on that actual land. There could be 2 or 3 of them. And yes, I said depending on the state and regulation. See, even countries are different. Some countries might have more construction superintendents than, say, here in America. Who knows? Because to be outside even pertaining to law, to be on the outside, living on the outskirts or somewhere, is to know you might do something, in fact, different than what is within the confines of, say, America. Australia handled their laws completely different than, say, here in America, U.S. soil. So a construction superintendent can represent the owner or principal and administer the contract's terms and conditions. Once again, a construction superintendent can represent the owner or principal and administer the contract's terms and conditions, as in the paperwork. That when you see the contract terms and conditions and all that pertaining to paperwork before you decide, as in getting something going in motion, right, spinning in motion. A contractor, that sort of thing would more than likely be handled by a construction superintendent above the contractor, and not the contractor himself. I'm thinking and sensing. I had to look this up. That's vital pieces. The construction superintendent is also responsible for confirming the builder's compliance with the requirements of the building contract and for answering queries in relation to contract matters or matters related to the construction. This is all above. See, for me to go much more higher, I said to rise above, it's to delve deeper, answer above the contractor. This is not his position at all. This is, in fact, the overseer position, the construction superintendent. So let me rewind that again so that you know and understand. The superintendent, as in the construction superintendent, is also responsible for confirming the builder's compliance with the requirements of the building contract and for answering queries in relation to the contract matters or matters related to the construction, as in the land. That's his role and position. He does all that. And even he would know about the timing and every single phase of who's planting feet, what, why, and where. And the reason, even at night. See, I'm in question to even want something to say on-site, off-site, whatever, as in the timing, punch card, punch out. That construction superintendent, you never know who could have actually went back even in the middle of the night, despite me saying that the family could have done what they could have done. Because I'm in question to even do contractors or even or even construction superintendents even go back and do visitations at night. I don't think they don't. I think once something is shut down completely at night, as in the punch out of the punch card, is over, as in the day has been served. Your services, or even that pertaining to land and building and construction and architecture and all that. So a construction superintendent and building, hold on, let me go back. I'm so happy I don't edit. Yes, I am. A construction superintendent in building and in contracts usually comes from an architectural, yes, I'm saying the background of, say, the individual being a construction superintendent, that man or woman, whoever, I'm thinking more of a man. That individual, and say building and handling contracts, that's their thing. That's their forte, which is what I was going to say. Usually they come from a background, they come from architectural building design, all that type of stuff ties in, as well as quantity surveying or engineering background. I'm thinking quantity surveying. I think that points to, like it says, quantity. To measure something, to know how much is something is needed in pertaining to gathering building materials and put those sort of things to work. Somebody somewhere has to handle that, so that could be the part of the surveying part, as in who's documenting what for the quantity surveying. I'm thinking that is just what the name speaks. See, to break something down is to tear it all the way down, possibly the roof. As you're sitting here, yes, speaking on that sort of thing, even with wording, what is a quantity surveying? It's more than likely has something to do with the word itself. Quantity means the numbering pertaining to material, and surveying means, in a sense, gathering information pointing to how much of something, how less of something, how much of overdoing something. It has to all has to be, in a sense, added up and documenting, as well as that could also pinpoint, as in going out on the land or something like that, doing sizes and measurement, surveying. That can be as well, because see, to survey something is to oversee too with your eyes and bring in other things such as measuring tools and all that in the process. Record keeping, that has to all go together. So construction superintendents are responsible for answering employees. That's what they do. The employees, in fact, come to the construction superintendent to answer questions more so than going to the contractor. Because I don't even think, depending on the contractor, what all he does, that more than likely is not his job. Seeing that I just deciphered that the construction superintendent is responsible even over the contractor. So the employees would not be answering back to the contractor. They would more so be answering to this construction superintendent. And that is important too, vital information pertaining to the head count, as in who was all doing what on the land, as in servicing, as well as what was appointed position of them playing, as in being there. Because once again, construction superintendents are responsible for answering employees' questions. So to pull too much up underground is to possibly say not bury a bag in the daytime. That's not going to happen. But you can in fact run into a pipe. Yes, run into a pipe, which is why somebody is out there overseeing that, because to dig too much and get carried away is to start unearthing certain material that is supposed to stay down there. Such as a water pipe. Hit a water main line and then see what happens. Water is going to be all over the place, and not only that, that's going to mess up the building process of, say, a home that comes later. That type of thing of coming up and unearthing stuff can destroy stuff in the process and land as you get it going. Running into a pipe, any type of pipe, electrical, anything, water pipe, that poses damage, water damage, even to the ground as what you're building on. That's going to in fact halt the process and push it back months later if it's not done right. So the construction superintendent have to be there for that sort of thing. Because see, the spread of main leak, as in you're hitting the water, whatever underground water pipe, and have that water go every which way, it's to know even that has to be taken out, as in the water or drying and letting whatever dry out, just so you can do whatever to set it back where it was at after it's dried out. You can't just build a house or whatever roadway or whatever is standing there today. You just can't build that sort of thing on top of that. That imposes problems even to whoever is going to buy the home or whatever. That pushes everything back, months back. Something like that, say you're going underground and unearthing as a contractor, superintendent, construction superintendent, to hit a main, water, whatever, is to just mess and wreck everything up. Which is why he's there to answer the questions, because even if he yank out something and it has something to do with wiring, depending on electrical, they might in fact be undergrounding. Because see, underground as well, electrical wiring, you never know, because even that is a grounding process, as in electrical. To stand and say what I know pertaining to that as in electrical, that's all grounding pointing to electrical wiring, if it's underground, right? That can impose a fire issue if that's not right. Because see, to know that you're knocked into something, say being an employee, and then not consult with the construction superintendent, is to know you in fact did some damage, or say sparks might fly later on in the middle of the night of the homeowner or whatever up under that, after y'all done built everything on top of that. That's why the construction superintendent has to be there. What you don't pay attention to now and watch and oversee now could in fact impose a problem, as in a house being planted there and issues coming later with that, or a roadway. It could issue an explosion because you didn't pay attention as you was working on stuff. The construction superintendent has to be informed on those sort of things, as if you don't fully know something and knock into it and bang it away. That has to be reported to, as well as in the documentation of the superintendent while he's working. So they ensure workers are doing what they're supposed to do in accordance to the land and building. That's what the construction superintendent does. And I just explained it thoroughly enough for you to even know. If you didn't know it before, now you do. So, yes, he has to ensure, whoever this construction superintendent is, they have to ensure workers are doing what they are supposed to do in accordance to the land and building. See, they're over all the employees, that construction superintendent, every bit of square inch of potential. Say even somebody if they wasn't seen or whatever in the middle of the night. Okay, so the construction superintendent would in fact give instructions to the workers. I said that before, and you got to hear it again, because that in fact is a clue pertaining to even search and rescue of stuff all adding up in relation to sciences. They in fact assign the work, as in the work teams. So they're going to in fact spread themselves amongst the land, but before they do that, the construction superintendent and not the contractor is going to in fact, yes, do that sort of thing, as in spread out teams on a mission playing field of who's going to do what at what exact time and who's going to take breaks as they're doing it. That's what they do. I talk aggressively. Yes, I do. I'm not a soft-spoken person. I said that before. I like amplification and making videos. I don't like soft speaking. That's not the thing. It doesn't help. First of all, it doesn't bring you in, is what I'm saying. And being soft-spoken, to say something vocally loud is a distraction to your mind, as in your viewing, right? But as well as, yes, it helps you pay attention. It's action in even that. The more forceful somebody speaks is the more action is there. It's going to draw you in or possibly make you tune out. Who knows? And yet, when I said distraction, that as well, because as I'm distracting you all the way from what you're viewing outside to tune you in, because what I got to say is kind of more important, though it's not. Maybe to those that have families, my voice is not more important than that, but I got to get you to listen to even this, because we're all questioning something doesn't make sense. And yet I'm the only individual that's going much more further. So the construction superintendent, they assign work teams. Who's doing what? Who walked over there to take a drink of Gatorade? Who walked over there to actually get their lunch box as it was sitting there with, say, a bologna sandwich and some mayo and some cheese or whatever? Who did what? As he came back over here on a lot to plant his feet to take a bite as he was working. You got construction workers that do that sort of thing, because to work too long sometimes is to need replenishment. So a construction superintendent is involved in development of pre-construction, budgets and estimates, and as a project progresses, he or she monitors expenses in order to ensure the budget is being met. This is not the contractor. This is the man above him. A construction superintendent is involved in development of pre-construction, budgets and estimates. See, all that is vital information as well as telling. It is very telling, because it explains everything he does. As in what he's doing while he's in the office, or possibly not doing while he's in the office. Who knows? And as a construction superintendent is involved in development of pre-construction budgets and estimates, and as a project progresses along, he or she monitors the expenses in order to ensure the budget is being met. He has to make sure everything is being met, because if it's too over in size, as in too much is being spent or whatever, too much of anything, he has to actually go back and fix something and put it right on cue where it's supposed to be meeting, as in fix a match of some kind. You can't be overspending stuff, because even that throw you back even in terms of the finance, and then you have to go back and track and possibly start all over where you started in the beginning. Okay, so they also track inventory. This is also the construction superintendent. They also track inventory of the materials, and I stated this before, but I'm stating it even more specific down to a science. They also track inventory of materials and supplies being used for the project. On the ground, the land, and all that other stuff. And no, I'm not crying, I'm sweating because it's hot. They track the inventory of materials and supplies being used for the project. And they work closely with architects and all the rest. That is, in fact, I just gave you the full definition of what a construction superintendent does and why. Yes, he's over I said that about 10-20 times. He's over the contractor and not the other way around. He ain't nowhere below any of them. He's the man all the way at the top. He's on the pedestal. So I had to put this there because I need this in vocal form in case if I need to listen back and decipher much more deeper than that, as in an angular, pulling pieces out, each one, and unraveling. So I think that's all to be stated for now. It's building permits and all that and everything, whether it's a home or not. Let me see. Because the land next door to me, that was like 2016 when they first had that land and no houses was there, right? And then last year, somewhere around the summer, July or August, is when those two houses came, as in showed up. Mind you, the whoever was doing the land, the bulldozers, I seen them eye to eye. I seen everything with my own two eyes, because I watch everything, the detail and everything. They had that land sitting there in 2016, the end of 2016, somewhere around October, November. Wherever Thanksgiving was, that land was there, and they was getting ready to prepare it because bulldozers was sitting there. And then somewhere around July, August of last year, 2017, all of a sudden 2 houses showed up. Or was it later? I think somewhere, going into October, was a little bit later, because on the building permit, it in fact says October 2017. See what I'm saying? And so after that building permit for the home building permit, the contractor's name is on it, as well as the registered number for that, for state and all that. They got to keep that on file for that. House to house, they have to do that. So after that was October 2017. And right now, that land is still sitting open there, and there's still only 2 houses. There's supposed to be maybe 10-15 houses that's supposed to be built. But see how long the process is taking? To say you started preparing land the end of 2016 is for me to watch the whole process. I watch everything. How could I not? It's right across the street. The land and everything. I can walk over there and actually put my feet down, and I'm not going to do that because you get in trouble by law. I can actually put my feet down where the bulldozer has lifted up stuff, and then whatever they did, went off wherever they at. So it's in fact a hole there with dirt and all that other side, on the side of one house of where they're still digging up. There's supposed to be, I think, about 10 or 15 houses being built there. And yet they're leaving stuff there as they're doing stuff, right? But I think the bulldozer, a lot of times, as I've noticed, they take it with them. But sometimes bulldozers are in fact kept on lands like that. But the land was getting ready. I saw them tearing up and stuff like that for those 2 houses. Yes, I did. For those 2 houses, when you first drive in, where I live at actually meets that location. I can come right out my house, or where I live at, I can come right outside and look over in the land area. Yes, I can. So to study that is to point it in a direction of even this case is how you're seeing stuff. So the end of 2016 is when they started digging up, as in gutting and unearthing, the 2 houses to get them ready. even though they weren't standing there, the dirting process, I saw that with the bulldozers and everything else. Yep, the end of 2016. Then 2017, somewhere towards the end, somewhere around that way, the houses got placed there, and then the contractor put his name on the building permit tag with everything else. It said October 2017, and here it is now. What's the date? Okay, it's June 2018, and see, no more houses have been placed there yet. And yet it's quite a few ways away, the houses that's supposed to be placed there. So a process could take however long, and even a superintendent, construction superintendent is even over this whole process, in which I'm watching with my own two eyes every single day. Because to live that close to something is to know you're going to see. And not only that, I hear them as they're working on it. That grinding, like my mom kept asking, is that a dog crying? I said, no. Then she asked me again, is that a dog? No, it's not a dog. That's that bulldozer pulling up and unearthing everything. So, and me saying that, that's vital. I think that's all to be said. I'm going to pull it apart later on. But, yeah. I want you to tell me whatever you want to tell me. You're free. I mean, you're free to basically say whatever you want, because I don't own YouTube. That's public property, private property, whatever you feel like saying. Just don't get on here and cuss me out. That I'm not going to go for. I'm not going to fight you, no. But I'm not going to go for any of the nonsense. Not while I'm creating my videos and somebody disagreeing, coming to tell me off. That sort of thing, I don't really give attention to. I'm booting you off, and that's the end of that. Dear Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else, I do all that. I'm not, so that's it. To disagree is to agree to disagree, however you choose and feel, but you're not going to be cussing me out on anything that I say, on anything that I'm using, because this is my side and not your side. So anyway, have a nice day, enjoy your day, and may you not waste it away. But the trail goes on, as in us even picking apart who wants to pick apart, and not just regurgitate everything that I said that before in one of my other videos. I'm sweating a lot. I have an issue with people doing missing persons, trying to help right with missing persons. I have an issue with those sort of people that want to sit and act like they playing their part to society by showing off videos of, say, where a kidnapper could have supposedly kidnapped or taken a child, and yet they don't decipher and break whatever down in analyzation to see what in fact could be there as in happened pertaining to the evidence that was left behind. I don't have no respect for those sort of people, of them being on Facebook, not Facebook, being on YouTube, working for YouTube, because see, to make 1,001 videos pertaining to missing children, it's a no money can be made off that sort of thing. Because to run some AdSense, such as an advertisement, is to know you're going to get paid off of just that. And yet I myself am not really interested, and I pray for the universe for me to never really be interested in having advertisement on my YouTube on any missing child's video, more so Asia Degree, because I want you to hear what I have to say. To have advertisements like the one individual, when I'm watching her videos, and like every so many minutes an ad is popping up. Literally, ads was popping up, flying, boom, 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 boom. Now, I've been in marketing for how long, right? And so my thing is, if you do makeup, then go put those on your makeup videos, and don't waste the time spending it on missing person videos, especially pointing to children, because see, that blows the focus off of the case, is what I'm trying to say. So me, myself, I have no interest of making money off of YouTube pertaining to some missing children videos. I might need to come up with something else, or something, if I'm going to be one of those individuals doing that sort of thing. You can completely blow the focus out of line, because to have somebody strung into a video as you saying something very interesting, and many of them are not, because to not decipher a case and tear apart stuff, it's to know people only gonna watch and listen for so long because you ain't got nothing into it. You just regurgitate. So an advertisement would in fact blow somebody's attention off, as in a way it's a turn off. And so somebody in the comment section of this individual, and I won't say who it was, they told her, because she does makeup and hair, they told her, why is so many advertisements on this video? of a child that went missing, not Asia, but another little Caucasian girl. And a girl told her, if you don't like it, get off my stuff, because this is why I'm here, to make money, right? That's what the woman told the viewer. And I'm thinking to myself, the viewer needed to call that out, because see, to make money off of a missing person is to say you might care, you might not care, but you might only be there to make money, because for some people, this is in fact a hustle. But for me, including an Asia degree, that is not the case. Because if that was the case, I'd be like, you know what? Asia ain't got much evidence to go off of. I'm on to the next case. And yet for me to be standing here and not try to put no advertisement, anything on I don't like stuff like that. Because to me, if I'm watching a video and an advertiser pops up, AdSense, whatever you want to call it, you can in fact block those, but not everybody is going to know and understand how to block those. Some people ain't even equipped to look up what is a blocker to block that advertising. You want to have everything opened up, as well as closed caption, hitting other countries, 200 something, 50 something languages outside of even America, for people to watch this. Because if missing children are going everywhere missing, it's to say other people can watch them, even your videos in Europe somewhere, and see a child that's been missing. But I have an issue with these advertisements making money off of these missing children videos if you're not going to put in much work. Because that almost shows a hard heart. And I can understand somebody not caring and just want to make money off of a child's face. I can understand that, because psychopaths actually exist in that. And I pointed that out in one of my videos. I must really care about an Asia degree and me not never meeting that little girl, because see, I was like somewhat of a little girl even when she went missing. I was young, right? Coming straight out of teenhood. But I don't like that. Because see, once the attention is there, it's hard to gain it back once the advertisement has got started. Some people don't even know how to stop a advertisement, although you can press cancel or skip right on the video. But sometimes the press the wrong thing is to get sent to the different link of where the advertisement is pointing you to, as in a direction, and then there you are sitting, and that just messed up the whole point of you even wanting somebody to watch a video in the first place. To not impose a distraction is to not put a advertisement there, as in take it off. Petty mindset. Petty mindset. But that's not to say none any better, because see, some of them individuals, women, girls that are looking up Asia degree, they might get mad at me saying that, but make your money as you feel, honey. Do what you do, as long with your purses and your makeup and all that other stuff. But I'm the real deal standing here. When I'm trying to solve children cases and all that other stuff, I go extremely, delicately deeper than possibly the FBI, and trying to figure out the sciences, as in where they stand out. Me, myself, trying to fit pieces together. Who doesn't know to put an ad on something that's to say that's the end of that and you're watching a video? People complain about that sort of thing. And that is in fact customer service and saying just that. If somebody is not, and many people are complaining that there's advertisement on watching a missing child, they want to know what happened to that child. That child could be missing in their city. And for you to be blowing and throwing advertisements just to make a dime and dollar and buck is to say even how you feel. You feeling putting the advertisement on the video. That child could be in anybody's city and they want to know. Because some children go missing 18, 20 years and are found, even 30 years and are found. So the attention span wants to be on that and not seeing who is doing Maybelline. Whatever. I call things out as well as people out, and they call me out as well. But I don't care as long as they're not coming to cuss me out, because see, to do an analyzation over a missing child is to break it down in configuration of even where a commercial should not be. Unless it's on a TV screen. Because see, if I'm an elderly woman and I go out and I travel or something like how my mom does, and yes, she's not elderly, but she's still in her 60s, so maybe that is. It's a no, even my mom can go to Africa somewhere and see an Asia degree somewhere as she's trying to watch my videos and make her way through. But seeming the ad has came and blocked you trying to figure out how to get it off the screen so you can continue to skip through to watch my videos and say, now you don't even want to watch it. That's a turn off. See, to have followers and want to keep followers is to in fact remove the ad off the videos. That, in fact, customer service. I've done that as well. How many times? Marketing, how many times? It's to say when somebody is dissatisfied with a service, you remove that sort of thing. As in a take it down. Not in the description as you explaining stuff like me, but you take down what they're blocking, what is blocking them to see. It's common sense. That's logic in even that. But these girls, so many of them, see, I don't get into hair and makeup, and if I did, you would in fact see it. But notice today or any other day, you don't see that. Because once again, I let my mind dress me, and I said that before. I'm an observant eye, and so I wear the same clothes over and over, and I will more likely to the day that I die. I don't really get into paw prints and all the other type of stuff of what I got on, because what is inside my mind, I'm a think tank. I'm a thinking tank. I think quickly on the feet. Notice how quickly I think, because I'm solving. So to do that is to not care one bit and piece about some hair and makeup. If that's the case, I might need to go actually purchase myself a hair and makeup team so that they can dress me up while they let me sit in the beautified chair and leave me to think. Just because I served a team pointing to discovery and all that other stuff in Oprah Winfrey, the OWN network, don't mean I in fact practice that same type of thing. As in the hair and makeup crew and all that other stuff, I would in fact hire somebody else pertaining to that and not be doing it myself. That's a waste of time on even my line. Hello, the caller, as in the call is dead right there. On that percentage of what I need to do and how I need to dress and all that other stuff, because to be this smart is to not be all into hair and makeup. I'm a masculine type of man despite me being a woman. I don't dress full blown like a man, and yet I carry myself more masculine because I'm an INTJ personality. I analyze and configure to help other people analyze and configure. So hair and makeup would not be my thing. As in my theme. The focus is not on that for me on my end, and it cannot be. And even you, the viewer, has eyes to see, right? Because see, for me to be an individual and be the mindset that I have, as in being able to solve, it's been times where I literally almost fell over myself because I was picking up paperwork pertaining to this Asia degree and wanting to hurry up and write stuff out, getting in the shower. Yes. So notice how that's more important, as in me solving something, looking at something, and feeling that is more important than, say, putting stuff on my face. That sort of thing will be a no-go. Because makeup will be splashed all over my face if I'm sitting down writing who could have done what pertaining to this Asia degree case, because that's unimportant to me. I will have makeup spread from head to toe trying to see what could have happened. And somebody would point out, you look an absolute fool. Well, I would have to be that because remember, a child was supposedly taken or abducted or possibly killed in her home. That's more important than how I look. It'll always be that important, more so than how I look. That's just my mind frame. And I'm sure for you to see a black individual, black, though I say I'm gold, for you to see a black individual on this camera and spend enough time breaking these sort of pieces down pertaining to what could have happened to this 9-year-old child, is to say I'm different than most. Because most women that look brown like me, brown shade, brown eye, brown color hair, whatever, they get into silly, petty things. And that's not to say anything about the individuals that's making many of the videos of the missing children. That's to not say that. But I am so different. And thank you, God, universe, whatever you practice, to say thank you on that. Because, see, police, for them to not put out enough information as in a scope and analyzation of what was what and not having evidence, substantial evidence. And then you got some police officers that was serving on Asia degree case who have in fact retired. So that's to say they're no longer there, even them coming out and speaking to the public, when the one officer specifically said keep the case alive, keep Asia's name out in the media and all that other stuff, and don't be glossing her over, is to say that's why I'm standing here. Hair and makeup can't fit in that. I'm sorry. Their babies, the ones that's making these missing persons children, your focus should, in fact, I know you want to look good, classy, spiffy, however else you want to look on camera so that you can be recognized by the public. And yes, you might have millions of followers, and yet me, I don't really have that many because that is not my thing. See, to put so much intensity, to put a lot of focus and intensity to editing videos, as well as making your face look good, as well as what you got on, or wear, as whatever you put on your head, is to know they're going to have more likes and subscribes than me, and I could care less about that as well. Because see, I'm much more smarter and brilliant than them. I'm a mastermind. I was in fact born a mastermind, and you, the viewer, can even see that. Because see, if I'm making videos pointing to missing children, and yet I'm speaking on stuff of which people didn't even think about, and yet sometimes when I speak on stuff, sometimes I'm not even looking at paper, and I haven't even like memorized some of this stuff, as in it's coming to me as I'm thinking, as I'm going. To think on the fly is just that, which is why many of these young girls that do these hair and makeup videos and also make videos pertaining to missing children, they can't think that fast. I think very, very fast, let me tell you. Very, very fast. Beyond the fast nature, which is why I'm a mastermind. And so for them not to be able to break down things pertaining to clues and what could have happened, is to say they get the short end of the stick of the deal, or not being, what's the word for it? Interesting or inspirational. The only thing that makes them interesting is the fact that they got a pretty face. And yet so could I if I put on makeup, eyeshadow, and all the rest, and yet that's not my thing. I want to focus on the missing people. That's why I'm here. I want to use this big brilliant mind that I have used on everything else. See, what have I done in my past? I was a writer, as in not just writer of what I'm doing now, but an actual songwriter. Yes, registered with BMI. Even Michael Jackson was registered with BMI. So was Mariah Carey. So is Janet Jackson. Who else? Snoop Dogg was registered with BMI. There's a lot of famous singers that was in fact registered with the same singing or songwriting, yes, performance organization, of where they do handle that paperwork and all. You handle it with them and registering your songs. Yes, all that BMI. I'm still registered with them, although I'm not writing songs today, and yet I did a lot, millions of songs in the past. But I was a songwriter. I read sheet music. I can compose music. Yes. Music theory. I know and understand all that pertaining to music theory, as in on the level of Bach and Beethoven, and open a book and being able to read measurements and all that other stuff. Yes, I am. And possibly replaying songs in the process as you're reading it. Coming up with beats, as in making your own beats like people do when they make beats. I've done that as well. I have a history of that. Running all the programs, Pro Tools, Pro Tools, Logic Pro. I know how to do all that pertaining to recording, I can literally myself walk into a recording studio and run that whole studio by myself. Self-taught, as well as, yes, went to school for that sort of thing. Dear Full Sail University. So, I sung in the past as well. Singer, I can sing as well as rap. I used to dance in the past, right? This is almost recently current, but not much so. I'm saying past the age of teenager, even back then. I draw, almost like a professional drawing artist. I do photography, TV and film. You see what I'm saying? I have a very brilliant mind. So to put all that brilliant is to put it right here on tape, where other people can rewind the tape and pause it and play it back. But these girls that look too cute and prissy, I'm not hating on them. They do what they do. But see, to not have a brilliant mind is to use what works for you, as in your looks. But what happened to when looks are in fact no longer there, as in where do you do then and where do you go? I'm just saying, which is why people go to plastic surgeons and all that other stuff and get Botox. I can't get caught up into that type of thing, as in the Hollywood aspect, despite me of where I served there in Hollywood. West Hollywood, to be specific. That's common sense and logic reasoning that something is going to sag on the way in how I look. So just in case if it's taken away, I have a backup, as in a generator right here on top of my head. That completely overlooks and overpasses looks itself, as in the brain. So that wasn't a call out, but I just tell people that get mad or whatever to stay off my stuff, or welcome to my stuff, but just don't cuss me out. And not only that, don't get mad when I mention that the advertisements too of that other individual, when she said that they need to be taken off the video. The girl told her, once again, let me close this door. Hold on. The girl told her, because see, the girl that was watching the missing person videos was in fact a consumer. I know and understand and well observant to public relations as well, because I understand that too. PR work is public relations, where you in fact represent an organization and you speak for that organization, even if that organization is yourself, being an entrepreneur, and how you must meet the public as in greet them with eyes and details, or say shimmering up your own organization of business or work, of making your own self look good in the area of if there's a mishap as damage. That handles damage control. Somebody gets smart with you. And you see it all the time with rappers, singers, whoever. Miley Cyrus and whatever, with that situation of her rocking back and forth on that chain and ball, whatever she was on, right? And her dad didn't like that, and she got in trouble or whatever with that, pertaining to media, mass media, marketing. I understand and know that as well. Public relations is to say, if somebody came on your YouTube channel and say they didn't like the advertisements and they request that you take it down, there's in fact a better way of you being able to say, to not tell them to leave, like the way she told them to leave. If you want to keep them as a consumer, you would in fact word that better, you would in fact word that better. Hello? You would in fact word that better pertaining to public relations. Hold on one second. Hello? Okay, you would, if you were public relations and you wanted to handle that as a consumer, because I understand public relations pertaining to celebrities and corporations. Say if somebody come on your whatever, where you're doing as entrepreneur, or however you're handling, working for somebody, helping to sell them, and somebody come up and they say, I don't like the advertising on the missing children's video. Instead of you just kicking them to the curb, because remember, they count as a number. As in a consumer, we're all adds up together and you making money. You wouldn't more than likely issue out a public opinion stating, I'm sorry, my apologies, and then state why you are apologizing to that individual, and possibly explain to them why you chose to put advertisements on your missing person's videos, missing children videos. You wouldn't just boot them out, as in kick them out. Though I've done that sort of thing in the past, yes I have. But for those that want to know PR work, I know that as well. You would explain why you got it there on the video. You might in fact pin that message or something to every other video in the description with whatever. Who knows? But you wouldn't just get rid of them like that. Because see, if one person is, and the reason why I say this, to tie something together is to say, pertaining to public relations work, to issue, to, what is that, put out a comment, to answer back to somebody, as you know, hundreds of thousands, though this person has millions of followers, to know, or hundreds of thousands of followers, to know that somebody said they didn't like the advertisements, is to in fact take it off the video if they didn't like it, right? But not only that, as they're leaving a comment, all those hundreds of thousands of people are in fact reading that comment that is at the top, right? No telling how many days that comment section is going to actually roll down as more people leave comments. So depending on how you treated that person in the comment section, as in booting them and not explaining why the videos are on there. And no, she didn't say why. She said she was making money off of that. But that's to know that all those other followers might read that comment of how you booted the girl, and they might follow along and leave with the individual that left because how you treated them. That's why public relations has to be there, as in representing the organization, as in speaking fully pertaining to the detail, what you do say and you don't say, as in kicking people and get rid of them. There's a way to do that sort of thing, even if you don't want to be nice about it. You would in fact leave them there, is what I'm trying to say. Leave them there to talk as they're talking, answer them back in a certain direct way so that they get the point and a hint of why. And then they can make the decision of if they want to leave themselves or not. Because I know if I read something and say you come at them that same way, you might come at me that same way, right? The way that she did. And not only that, once one person read that comment, they like, okay, I don't even want to watch no more of her videos. Or, why did she say it like that? Because see, I'm not the nicest person. Which is why I said I don't deal with people cussing me out. That I will in fact blast off. As in a nasty whoosh. As in getting rid of you. But to just leave a comment in the way that the woman did and she was sincere about it is to know there's a better way of, say, even booting people. Where other people are not going to follow that person and being booted. Public relations. Where the eye meets the public. And all the way around. Pivotal. It glows around the globe every single day. CNN, Fox News, everybody, Oprah Winfrey own network. Who else? Yes, Larry King. Even on YouTube. So I think that's all to be said about that. I'm going to end this video. Because I wanted it to be short, but it's a little bit too long. But remember everything I said. Because I may or may not remember. But to drop it right here is to drop it in detail. Public form for you to view. Enjoy your day.